Hey guys, and welcome back to the Geeks of the Multiverse podcast. As always, I am Brandon, and I'm joined by Will.
What's up, guys?
We've been away for quite some time, not really made any videos, and certainly haven't made any podcasts, but of course we are back on San Diego Comic-Con weekend, perhaps the most important geeky weekend of the entire year, which Marvel and DC have also made a return to, because they've been away for quite some time themselves.
Yeah, I always find that really weird that they stopped attending, and they tried to do their own little events, didn't they? They had DC had the fandom sort of in the pandemic that started up, and then they haven't been doing that for the last couple years now. I think the last one was for Black Adam, so that went well.
Oof.
And Marvel have their is it D23, whatever they're called, presentation.
Yeah,
things?
they do some stuff at D23. Yeah,
They also
and they've got their investors calls and stuff like that.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know why they suddenly decided to come back, but it's a welcome return, I guess.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it gives us stuff to talk about. Of which there's not a lot. There's not as many as a lot of years in the past. I think 2019 was a pretty big year to talk about. Because there was a massive slate release.
Yeah.
There was lots of stuff going on. But today, we're going to start off by talking about some DC news. DC Studios didn't actually make an appearance, but DC did with some other stuff. So we're going to start off by talking about the new DC logo, then move on to some Superman and Lois and My Adventures with Superman talk. Then we're going to be talking about Batman Cape Crusader, and there was some stuff revealed about that. Onto another piece of animation with Creature Commandos, the very first DC Studios DCU project. Then onto the Batverse with the Penguin. Then moving on to some more independent stuff with The Boys and their newly announced spin-off. And then onto some Marvel stuff with Captain America Brave New World, Avengers 5 and 6, and finishing off with the Fantastic Four, which has had a new title, which we will get on to, I suppose.
Yeah, so the DC logo is it 1976, I think, was its original starting use time.
Yes.
It's around there. It's one of the years in the 1970s. But they've brought it back. They've gave it a little a tiny little update, modernized it a little bit.
Bit of zhuzh, yeah.
Yeah, and added studios underneath it.
Yes, I think they're just using that logo for the comics and everything else, and then underneath they've got a variant of that logo with studios underneath.
Yeah, for the movies and stuff and TV shows and whatnot. But yeah, they also had the little intro thing. It had Superman in it, and I don't know if it's going to be sort of their just new thing where it's going to be that at the start of every film, because they also had a similar little intro to Marvel, but it was a bunch of CGI characters that
hardly didn't show up.
Yeah, hardly any of them. Hardly any of them were actually in the films themselves. So
which is great. But yeah, I quite like that. It had the Superman sort of breaking the chains. That very classic homage to the vibe they seem to be going with DC. Sort of, I think James Gunn said something along the lines of embracing the past and the future all in one, which I quite like as a concept.
Yeah, it's the first look Superman. I don't know, first appearance Superman. That's it. And
yes.
I wonder if they're going to do it for every film. They're going to have this, but a variant for each character. So Batman,
we'll that could be interesting.
The big pointy is Batman, and a different variant for each different film in their first appearance. Like a Wonder Woman one.
Yeah, I mean that could be kind of cool. Or a select few characters that appear in that sort of it flicks between different characters, maybe, or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know.
I quite like it. It's quite simple, and it's short as well, so it doesn't have that somewhat. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love the Marvel intro, but that somewhat obnoxiously long sort of fanfare at the start.
Yeah, it's very self-indulging, we're Marvel, look at us, kind of thing.
Yeah. I was speaking to my dad about it, years ago, and I remember him saying something about, you can tell it's a Marvel movie because they've got Marvel Studios plastered over every single thing. Like you know, like they let you know it's a Marvel thing.
Yeah, I like the shortened one. It reminds me a lot more of like more older film openings when it would just literally, you know, like the lion. Like what's it? What's the MGM?
Yeah, the MGM.
It is MGM.
Yeah.
Like the lion is like 5 seconds, and it's just you know it's an MGM film. I think
or even like some of the old like DC animated movies and stuff like that. They had like a DC logo that was very like it had like a little intro to it, like a little animated intro, but it was very brief and I don't know. It was kept simple, which is nice.
Yeah, you don't need like a whole 2-minute intro for a film. It's just padding at that point.
Well, exactly. Yeah. Now I wonder, in terms of like the whole DC thing and the DC Studios variant, I wonder if their Elseworld movies have a variation on that logo, like perhaps a different style or a different color, or it will say DC Elseworlds or something like that.
I don't know how they're interesting. Yeah, I don't know how they haven't really addressed that, like spoken about. Well, we haven't seen anything yet, but they haven't spoken about the branding for the Elseworld stuff. Because at one point,
because James Gunn said like it was gonna they would be labeled as Elseworlds, but I don't know how they like we've not seen that with like Joker 2 or something like that.
Yeah, I've seen I saw someone on Twitter or X, if you want to be an idiot. They edited it in like the style of the Batman, so like the red and black.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah.
And they added like grime and stuff on it. It looks really good for like that kind of that film.
Yeah, so it'd be interesting to see what they do there. Like, and a perfect segue onto like Superman and Lois in My Adventures with Superman. Like, will they have like that branding, perhaps?
Is that, I don't remember in My Adventures with Superman if there was any like DC branding. I don't remember what there was. Was it at the end of the show?
I think it might have been at the end. Like you got all the Arrow shows did it. Like all the old DC shows did it at the very end.
Yeah. I remember. I remember now. It's
and they had like their own variations.
They did have one of them. Now thinking, it's right at the end of the show. It has like I guess now the old DC logo, the one that they've been using for the last like 10 years. And it like flips around, and then it's got like the Superman background and stuff.
Yeah.
I know they had
which we recently just watched the first 2 seasons of that show, and it's really good.
It is really good. And now we've got the 3rd season. They showed off a little bit. I don't remember if they showed any footage, but there's definitely been like pictures and concept art and posters and stuff for it, which is crazy considering the last season's just came out. And this one, they're already like got stuff ready for it. There's no big breaks.
And they've announced that there's going to be a season 4, didn't they, as well?
Yeah, not like other animated shows that take 4 years between seasons. That's just go.
Yeah, it's because they got that Sailor Moon transformation. I can feel the savings. But yeah, they did show some concept art, which I couldn't really quite make out everything that was going on in there, but we could see a bold Lex finally in the show.
Yeah, it's not Alex anymore.
Which I love that, by the way, for those who don't know. They were told that they couldn't use Lex Luthor for the first season of the show, or like in the show in general, and they put him in under the name Alex as just sort of like, we'll use him anyway, we'll just use a loophole to get around it. And like, I fucking love that shit when they just they find a way to go, nah, we're gonna do it.
Yeah, they've got he kind of looks like a One Punch Man, if you know what that is.
It does look like One Punch Man, yeah.
It's One Punch Man with glasses. But there's also some other returning characters on there. So we've got Deathstroke. Yeah,
yes.
It was Deathstroke, yeah. I don't know why I wanted to call him Deadshot. That's not Deadshot. Mr. Mitsipillic. He was in the first season, I think.
He was in the first season, yeah.
And then he disappeared, but I guess he's back. And we got
I think he was in the first season? I don't know.
Yeah, I can't remember.
I think I watched through kind of blend on.
Yeah, we didn't
kind of watch them back to back, didn't we?
Yeah, so I can't really remember. I think it was the first season. And we got Amanda Waller, of course. She's a big part of the show. And then we've got See, the problem with the show is that was a very good show, but the design choices for a lot of characters make them very unrecognizable.
Yeah, especially for the villains.
Yeah, it is mainly the villains, because obviously, Superman and Supergirl, you could tell who they are based on their color palettes and
They're
stuff.
iconic enough that you simply cannot change the way they look.
But like Brainiac in that show is just a robot guy with a Xbox Series X on its head.
Yeah, he looks more like Zurg from Toy Story.
He does. Like, if you show that picture of Mr. Spidlick to anyone who knows, like, his base design or his, comics design, no one's gonna know who that is. Like, he looks nothing like. I mean, it's an interesting one, but like some of the other characters.
I'd love to see this universe's design of Batmite.
Oh god. But like most of the characters on here, I literally no idea who they are. Like, there's that like metal robot Superman bloke. I'm guessing it's something to do with Lex Luthor, because he's got a big L on his
I think
chest.
I think it might be the Eradicator. I don't know. I could be wrong there, but I think if I were to take a guess, my best guess would be the Eradicator, which kind of leads me to believe that they might be setting up a Reign of the Superman sort of arc, which feels a bit early to do, especially since Clark isn't dead or hasn't faced Doomsday or anything yet. But I don't know, the fact that you got Superboy in the show as well, we got some concept art for him, which looks very comic accurate. He looks on point.
Yeah, I like it. He has like the cool jacket and he has the same. Yeah, it is the same crest. Sorry, I was just looking at it. I couldn't really tell, but yeah.
And he's got the shades.
Yeah. And he's looking
pretty on point.
He isn't on the concept art, I don't think, unless he's one of the. You can see sort of in the bottom left corner-ish, like there's like the 4 people, and I think that it's supposed to be. Well, one of them's got a jacket like him, so I'm not sure if that is meant to be him or not. But my thoughts is that this is like a evil version of all the main characters.
Okay, kind of like an Elseworlds sort of thing.
I'm just getting that vibe from it. I don't know.
Ooh, perhaps, yeah.
But I'm
could be.
Not sure what they're going to do with that, because I don't think Superman's there. But obviously you cannot tell because they've got masks on and stuff, so you don't know. Who they are.
Yeah.
But it's easy. Obviously, they haven't changed Supergirl there, but they have changed. You can tell Lois very easily, but the other ones, apart from Supergirl, they're just 2 people. I'm just gonna guess it's Jimmy and like either Evil Clark or it is Evil Superboy or something along those lines.
Something along those lines, yeah. I mean, yeah, because obviously Superboy has connections to Lex Luthor and stuff like that as well. Interestingly enough, Kara, I was hoping this would be the case, but Kara has joined like the main cast, which is cool. I wonder if in the next season we'll see a little bit more of on the topic of Reign of Superman. If we'll see a little bit more of Steel, John Henry Irons, because he made his debut in season 2.
Yeah, he was in the final. He was in the final like fight bit
against Zurg.
Yeah. Against Zurg and the robot
men. So I'm really looking forward to that. Is there a release date or release window that they announced?
I didn't see one, but it is
because I would assume it's probably like a year turnaround between seasons as well. Judging.
I think they all sort of come out around at the same time each year. I haven't seen a date for the next season.
No, they didn't announce one then.
I know it's one of the higher rated shows on Adult Swim. Like
it is, and it's a really good show.
Like the animated
ones. Highly recommend. Yeah, to anyone who hasn't seen it, I highly recommend. Along with Superman and Lois, another show that if you haven't already, it's up there with one of the best depictions of Superman in any media. It really is incredible. And we got our first look at season 4. Now, we will keep this talk brief because I know you are yet to see season 3.
Yeah, I felt very...
spoil anything for you.
I felt very targeted with that. You haven't watched
I recommend it, Will.
Yes, I'm being strongly recommended to watch it. But no, I will get around to it at some point. It's just I've been watching other stuff.
Yeah, that's fair enough. That's fair enough.
I cannot overdo all of Superman content at once. That's too much Superman.
True. A nice little balance. Especially now it's on BBC iPlayer.
Yeah, it's easier for us to watch that.
Yeah, we gotta wait. We don't have the privilege unless we go on very legal sites to watch it elsewhere.
Which we of course do not do.
No, of course not. Of course not.
Of course not.
But yeah, so they showed some footage of Superman fighting Doomsday, which obviously you have seen.
Yes,
you said you've seen yourself.
I couldn't avoid that one
from season 3, but yeah, the footage looks, especially for a TV budget, not even like a HBO Max TV budget, like a CW budget. The effects on the show have always been incredible. The half of the fight we saw in season 3 was brilliant, and the footage they showed at Comic-Con it looks so good.
Yeah, it
looks so good.
It was funny to me watching that and hearing that they had an even lesser budget this season, but they did cut down the episode numbers, so,
and some of the cast as well, from what I hear.
Yeah, so I found it funny watching that and seeing it it looks better than what I've seen from the show. Where that sounds bad, but it looks better than the rest of the show, if you get what I mean.
Yeah, and a lot
visually.
Of that looks fantastic.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And we got the poster.
They've clearly worked very hard.
Yeah, and then we got the poster for it as well, which it's hard to tell if Superman has trunks on that poster. It could be a shadow, but it looks too inconspicuous to be a shadow.
Yeah, it looks segmented. It looks too segmented to be a shadow, in my opinion.
I think he was getting a new suit, right? That was a thing.
Bitsy Tulloch said that there's a detail on the new suit that fans have got to look forward to and should look out for.
That is very much probably the trunks, or maybe they did something with the logo, the crest, and did some. Oh no, because it's on there as well.
Yeah,
it is probably
the belt looks. The belt looks golden as well, which kind of makes me think, because it has previously been red.
Yeah, I see that.
So it makes me think they're definitely going to be implementing trunks by having a gold belt in there, which would be really, really nice to see for a final season of the show.
Yeah, it's only right to end the show with the trunks.
Absolutely. And if they are at all diving into the death of Superman stuff, which it's by that teaser poster we got a week or two back, it kind of seems like they are. There was a bit of a trailer, but I won't spoil anything that was said in that. But just judging from that poster we got a couple of weeks ago of the torn cape, I'm assuming they're doing Death of Superman and the reign of the Superman that they've kind of been setting up with the inclusion of Steel, the Eradicator being his brother, and his son taking over as Superboy. Seems like we're getting a bit of that going on. If we're doing that, all I'm saying is it would be lovely to get Tyler in the black regen suit, have him grow a bit of a beard. We know he can do it, and he likes sporting a beard. I'd love to see that too.
They had he did have the black suit for a scene or two in the first season, so they could probably just bring that out of the WB lot.
Yeah,
unless it's already been sold off for tax rewrites or something,
Wouldn't surprise me.
They uncreated the suit for tax write-offs.
I would, I'd buy it. I'd buy it.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, looking forward to that season very much so. Hopefully once Will has watched season 3, we can get through with perhaps some videos on that as more news comes out, because it's a brilliant show, and I'd love to, not that we've got a big enough following to promote it, but I'd love to promote it a little bit and just sort of talk about it a bit, because it's a great show.
I was going to say that we'd probably double the viewing amounts, but this isn't like The Flash, so people actually watch it.
Yes. But yes, moving on from that, because there's only so much we can talk about, on to Batman Caped Crusader, another animated venture from DC, coming out in just a couple of days on August 1st. we got some news about that. We got some new looks, and some character profiles. They're kind of already pretty deep into the promo for that show anyway, regardless of Comic-Con.
Yeah, they had like Matt Reeves on the stage to talk about it as well.
I think this is the only DC venture from J.J. Abrams.
Yeah, the big money contract.
Yeah, yeah. That was like what, 6 years ago?
It was a long time ago. I am convinced that he ran off to Venezuela with the money, and they haven't been able to track him down. He sends like pigeon notes to them with what to do. Messenger pigeon, so they can't track him.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Talking about birds and stuff, however, they have decided in this show to gender swap the penguin. So they did the very big brain genius recreation of the character by adding an A to their name. It's genius.
Wow. So genius.
Well, they didn't really say anything. They mentioned the penguin in the trailer, but they didn't show. I don't think they didn't show them in the trailer.
Yeah, they said Cobblepot. But little do we know at the time that it was not Oswald, but Oswalder.
Jesus,
it just sounds dumb when I say it.
Yeah, I'm not really annoyed about like the swapping. I just think they could have come up with something more creative than just adding an A on the end of the name. You know?
Yeah, like you still could have done Cobblepot. You could have done like Olwyn or something like that.
Yeah,
like,
there's plenty
of
names.
Completely different name.
Well, I don't know if they're gonna like. I'm assuming they're gonna change something about the characters, like just the character as well.
I would assume so.
Because otherwise, if not, what was even the point in adding the A to their name?
Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's just swapping for swapping's sake. When like I'd like to see a fresher take on the character. With the gender swap, I'd like to see a bit of a fresh take. Would be nice.
Yeah.
But to be fair, it's not the only change they've made to a lot of characters. They've made Harley Quinn an Asian character, which is cool. They've gone for, once again, like in the Batman, they've made Jim and Barbara black, which is cool.
Yeah, they did something to Alfred as well. I think I can't remember what it was. Not like they didn't like change it like that. Like just his character.
Didn't they say he's like an enabler for Bruce or something like that?
Yeah, they've done something to Alfred. Or I say something to Alfred. They've done something with Alfred. They've
I think he's less of a father figure in this show, is from what I've heard.
Yeah, he was in the trailer, but I've watched too many trailers and stuff till then. It's all just flooded out of my head.
Yes, yeah, 100%. But there are people who've been sent the show early. Boba Talks, great fan of his channel, and apparently he's been sent all of them early. He's going to get his spoiler review out whenever. But he put out a tweet saying that all 10 episodes are incredible.
That's good.
And although it's under like the BTAS Bruce Timm style, it does a lot of new stuff with it, and it does feel like a fresh take and not just like a BTAS, but if we were allowed to do more darker themes. Which is cool.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I was hoping.
Well, they've also, in the trailer, we got a better listen to the voice of Batman. So I was a bit conflicted on it from the little bits we'd already heard. He sounded a bit generic, but he was alright. He was alright in the trailer.
Yeah, no, I quite like it. It reminds me of, but the guy who voiced him in Justice League: The New Frontier. It's almost sort of just like I don't know. It feels almost. There's like a graveliness to it, but it's not raspy like Bale. It's kind of like, it's smooth but detective-y. I don't know. It feels right for a Batman. I quite like it.
Yeah, in the previous trailers, I thought he sounded very like one tone. He didn't.
Okay, yeah.
He didn't really.
A bit of the Jensen Ackles, or.
Yeah. Not to specifically name anyone, but yeah, that sort of voice. But no, I think he did alright. I think it's a lot better than I thought it was going to be, but I was looking forward to the show anyway. But it's not a make or break thing, but it's still a very important part of the character that you got to get right.
Oh, 100%.
But I think he did a pretty good job. I'm looking forward to it. It's out in a few days as well, so have a
Yeah,
fun
we might
time
get a
watching
review
that.
up on the channel or something like that.
Yeah. So another animated thing that has been revealed, or a new trailer for, was Creature Commandos. That is out. I think it's December. That's releasing, and
Yes.
we got a little trailer for that as well. It didn't show off too much. It was more of a teaser trailer than anything, to be honest. It was it's a nice little trailer though. You got like introduced to all the characters. You got all the voice cast. Blah blah blah. I think it was a pretty decent trailer. It was very James Gunn.
Yes. Yeah. 100%. It felt a little bit Adult Swim with like I don't know, just having. Is his name Alan Tudyk?
Yes.
Yeah, having him in it, because he obviously voices Joker in Harley Quinn, in the Harley Quinn show, and like just hearing him in some of the lines, I was just like, I kind of like hearing his voice makes me feel like I'm watching one of those shows. But it was really cool. Yeah, great trailer. Little just didn't reveal much, but it was more of sort of it established the basis of the show, and it was a bit of a character profile thing. It was quite cool.
They're not characters that they've ever been on, or most of them. You got the Weasel.
Yeah.
He's been in stuff before, and Amanda Waller. But the rest of them are very new characters to most of, if not nearly all of the audience. So
yeah, exactly. Which I like. I like that we're getting new stuff from the DCU.
I don't know whether it's the best thing that should be like will be known as the first thing in like that franchise. I'm gonna like the DCU. I don't know whether it's the first thing to have as like the known as this is the start, because it feels
people
random.
Do their watch throughs.
Yeah.
I get you. Starting off with Creature Commandos.
It's incredibly random, but I guess if they had it already there, I think James Gunn said that he wrote it ages ago, and like they were going to make it anyway, but it wasn't going to be for the DCU, and now they've just got it ready. And I guess there is no point in just saving it for like 2 years just for Superman to come out first, you know?
Well, exactly. Yeah, he kind of said it was going to be kind of an aperitif to the DCU before we actually fully get started diving in with Superman. Now obviously it's following on from the events of Peacemaker Season 1, which some events are still canon, which follows on from the events of the Suicide Squad, which is some of the events are still canon. Obviously, the way that ended, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen Peacemaker, another show I would massively recommend, especially before the start of the DCU. But at the end of that show, we got the reveal of Amanda Waller taking down. Amanda Waller getting revealed, and Task Force X getting taken down, and all that sort of stuff. So it follows on from that. And what I found the most interesting, just quickly before we wrap up this segment, is that it doesn't feel like Frankenstein is a part of the initial team.
Maybe they. I'm assuming that what's her name? The bride, isn't she like married to him or something?
I think they used to be married. I think. So maybe they run into each other and he sort of tags on because he wants to stay with her or something like that. Or that could be.
He's got to get the divorce papers signed, you know.
Oof, yeah. You know how it is.
Me specifically, I know all about that.
Yeah, the old ball and chain, you know.
Oh man.
But yeah, no, I'm really, really looking forward to that. Anything that James Gunn does has got, especially with his teams, they always feel like it makes you care about the characters, which I'm really looking forward to.
Yeah, they also have a good team dynamic and energy in all of his stuff. He does like to have teams in everything he does.
Even Superman.
Yeah. He's got the Max Lord team of teams. And
yes.
I wonder if he's going to end up being the one to write and direct a Justice League film.
I think he will. He said like he knows what his next project's going to be, but he hasn't got time for it now. I think he will do a Justice League or a Justice League International project.
Yeah, it depends, though, because obviously Warner Brothers aren't great at keeping promises and also great at keeping money.
True. Hence their $40 billion in debt.
But there is another trailer that they showed off that we're going to talk about quickly, because the Penguin had another trailer. Well, it's the first trailer. The rest of them were teasers, apparently, but they were like 2 minutes long. So I don't know why this is just classed as the first trailer when there's been so much already out about it. But it revealed a little bit more. Again, it was a bit of a character study. It was talking about Falcone's daughter.
Yes, Sophia Falcone, who's been in Arkham.
Yeah, she is.
She was the Hangman Killer.
Yeah, Hangman.
Yes. Killer. So she's been in Arkham for quite some time, which is cool. Hopefully, we get to see a little bit more of Arkham and like life around Arkham. That would be kind of cool. That was one of my favorite parts about the Gotham show.
Yeah,
is their depiction of Arkham.
The early seasons, they had a lot of story arcs around Arkham and Jim Gordon living in Arkham for 2 episodes. Yeah,
that was really cool. And also Batman Arkham Asylum, a very prolific game. That's, I just love seeing things that are set within the confines of the asylum, because I think it's quite an interesting concept. And it's interesting to see what different universes do with their takes on it.
Yeah. Now, do you think that Batman is going to be in the show?
Legally, I'm unsure, but I think he will be. I think it only makes sense for him to be.
Or at least Bruce Wayne. I think there'll be Bruce Wayne. I don't think that Batman, or they're gonna do something similar to Titans, where you knew Batman was there, but you couldn't really silhouette. See him. Yeah, something similar to that. Or it will
They'll
be
find
his
a
voice.
Loophole if they can't. Yeah.
Because don't Disney have some sort of say in Batman's TV rights? There's some... Fox had the rights to it?
Fox had the rights, and then Disney bought Fox, so it's now in a weird...
That is crazy.
Place.
That is crazy.
Yeah, very much. Which is weird, because I thought sometimes when companies get acquired, rights sometimes revert, but I don't know what the deal was there in the first place.
Yeah, they probably had some stuff written into their into the legal documents about that whole ordeal. About that.
But I'm sure a deal could be struck and they could use him potentially. I don't know. But I'd love to see it. If not, we just get Man.
Yeah, we get Man. I think it'll be Bruce Wayne. But it's interesting though that Matt Reeves has said that this, like, the plot of the show was just going to be the next Batman film that he was making. But Warner Brothers, or was it Max, HBO, one of the executive people said that they wanted more big characters to focus on. So they turned basically the plot of the film into a show. So I'm thinking that's probably why the writing for the next Batman film is still going on for so long. Because it was originally going to be this, and then they shifted it into a show. So they had to start the Batman 2 again.
Yeah, that makes sense, to be fair. That makes sense. I don't know. I'm patient with it. I think this show will tie me over for another couple of years, but also make me even more excited and anxious for the film.
Yeah, it's a long time away still.
Speaking of the film, though, before we move on, we had our first look at Mark Strong as Carmine Falcone. It was rumored that he would be playing a young Carmine, which is odd because there's only a 6 or
7 years, yeah.
Yeah, so is it just more cast, or they couldn't figure it out schedule-wise, or what's going on there?
I think it's probably I think it's more of a budget thing. Like, it's probably an expensive guy to get compared to Mark Strong, so...
Potentially. I don't know, yeah.
I mean, he does look younger,
I'd be interested to... Yes, he does, yeah, just purely from like the hair dye and that. But they look eerily similar, which is good, I guess, good casting.
I want to hear his voice, because he has a very distinctive voice in the film. I want to hear Mark Strong doing that voice now.
True.
But this show is so this show is supposed to lead into the next Batman film. So the Penguin is confirmed to come back in that film as well. So that can rule out him dying, I guess, in the show. Spoilers for the show that's not out yet. He's supposed to be in the next film. So I guess that we it's leading right into it. So this is in October, the end of October, and then I'm guessing
September.
No, because it's the show is right after Batman, and that's Halloween.
Oh, sorry, I thought you meant the release date.
Oh yeah, sorry. No, in the show it's set in November, October, November, yeah, and then if it leads right into the second film, we might be getting snowy Gotham again. I'm excited.
Oh,
if it's a Christmas,
that would be very sick.
Well, all the characters, it's supposed to be like 3 months later, and it's been like 4 years since the film came out at that point.
True, and if it's really cold in Gotham and there's still floods going on, see some freezing
ice.
Maybe?
Yes, Iceman, famous Batman villain Iceman will be in the film.
Yes. But yeah, speaking of spin-off shows, that leads us directly into our next topic. Just a short one. The Boys is getting a second spin-off, a prequel series starring Jensen Ackles as Soldier Boy, along with, I can't remember the actress's name, as Stormfront.
Cash, I think that's her name.
Okay.
Yeah, it is funny to me that they're doing this, because literally in the last season of The Boys, they're making fun of, like, Marvel and DC with all their films and spin-off franchises, and now they're slowly, like, going this direction themselves.
Yeah, it is interesting to see the thing they see them become the thing they took the piss out of the most.
Yeah, but I cannot fault them, because you cannot waste Jensen Ackles' Soldier Boy. You cannot not have him. They've got to make up for him not being in that last whole season of The Boys.
Very true.
I think they cannot let that talent, like, not be on screen. Especially, it's the next season of The Boys is supposed to be the last one. So I'm not going to complain that we're going to see more of Soldier Boy.
No, absolutely not. He's fantastic in the role, and well, they did say that he's going to be a lead in season 5.
Yeah, 5.
5. Yeah.
No, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's been so long since the show started. Like it's wild, because they take a while in between seasons as well. Like the next season isn't coming out till 2026, I believe.
Yes, it'll probably be more the start of the year, I think. But they've got that Gen V season 2 in before, so
yes, yeah. So yeah, very excited for that. Now on to Marvel.
The big
Captain
section.
America: Brave New World.
Yeah, there's not much to talk about with this. I'm not really looking forward to it that much, but I'm interested because I thought that the Serpent Society stuff that they'd already filmed was cut already. I thought they got rid of that, but Giancarlo Esposito has said that he's playing Sidewinder, who's the king of the Serpent Society. And I really thought that they got rid of that plot from the film, according to the very reliable Scooper people.
Yeah, I heard that they were making tweaks with it, but I wasn't sure whether they'd gotten rid of it entirely or not. But yeah, it seems like they're keeping it in, which is kind of cool, because that was what the original plan for Captain America 3 was going to be.
Yeah, before they changed it within about 10 minutes.
Yes, yeah, and it worked out. But yeah, but I am intrigued to sort of see what the hell is going on with this film, with the Serpent Society plot and the President stuff and the Red Hulk and the leader. It being like a World War Hulk, Planet Hulk setup or something.
Yeah, there's a lot of Hulk characters in that film.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest, like, the trailer looked good, but I'm not that excited for it, I'm going to be perfectly honest.
I mean, you can make a good trailer for a bad film, though. How many, like, how many films have had, like, banger trailers, and then you go and see it, and it's like, what the hell was that?
Fucking Morbius. I saw that first, and I went, damn, this actually looks kind of good. And I saw that, and I went, what the fuck is this?
Get them fries. Morbius sweep.
Yeah. floating in the sky like a packet of chips.
That describes the film very well.
It does. But yeah, so not really much more to say on that. I don't know how much they paid Harrison Ford to get on stage at Hall H and start screaming like the Hulk, but yeah, I'm looking forward to it, but I'm not that excited, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I get you.
I don't have massively high hopes, but yeah. But that leads us then on to Is it the next Marvel film that's going to be Fantastic Four after that?
I think so.
I think Brave New World is what, February or something, or
yeah,
and then Fantastic Four is like May or no
July. It comes out like 2 weeks after Superman.
Yes.
They've been very spiteful, giving it less than a year of release or production to get it out then, which has me worried.
Yes.
Because
it has me a little worried.
We've all seen over the last few years how rushed projects end up coming out as, looking like Thor: Love and Thunder CGI boy.
Which, when we had a year, or well, this being this year, with just one Marvel Studios movie release, you would have thought they might have given like a bit more attention and a bit more time and used that break to put a bit more effort into production and post-production on some of their other films. But yeah, the movie has been retitled from The Fantastic to The Fantastic Four: First Steps, which is, it's a quaint title. I quite like it, but they probably could have just gotten away with keeping it as The Fantastic Four, and no problem with that one. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to the film. They showed some footage. We had the cast out on stage. There was some footage that leaked. Someone recorded it in Hall H and posted it on Twitter, which we both managed to see earlier today. And it looks damn good.
Does it? Apparently I don't know if it was just that footage or the whole film is being shot in 4:3, but there is something about it that is 4:3.
Yeah, that could be really, really cool. Maybe some like if they're doing like flashback stuff, to them like documenting their trip to space.
Yeah,
that could be done in 4:3 maybe.
I don't know when. I don't know how. I don't think anyone does, obviously, yet. But how if they're gonna have their origin in the film or not. I don't know if it's been said yet. If they're gonna like have it, or they're already gonna be like the Fantastic Four. Because obviously,
Matt Shankman said that that it's not an origin story and it's going to pick up after they got their powers.
Okay. So they're the Batmaning it. It's like
they're the Batmaning it. It's like a year one type of situation, I think. Yeah,
that's right.
The looks of things.
Because they also had the Fantastic car flying around Hall H as well.
They did, yes. I'm really excited for them to be embracing this more spacefaring, whimsical side, adventurous side. To the Fantastic Four. I think it's something we haven't really established before in any of the other attempts, because there wasn't a one.
There wasn't
a film in 2015.
No, that didn't happen.
So yeah, I'm really excited from the footage we've seen. I love everybody's look. The cast that I was half dubious on, with the casting of Joseph Quinn and Pedro Pascal. But seeing them in that pre sort of test footage that they've shown, they look perfect.
Yeah, I think they look pretty good. I was also pretty dubious, but they look alright. They're not. I still think that the 2004, I want to say, was the first one.
I think it was 2004.
They were. I don't know. I think that they had some pretty like fantastic. Oh Jesus, I've said it. They had some pretty good cast. No, no, that doesn't exist. They had some really good casting for that one.
Yes, they did. Ewan Griffith was incredible, and as or could have been. I mean, he was great, but like he was good, but like
it was 2004.
If the movie was better, or it was made today or something. He could have been like peak casting.
Yeah.
And obviously, Chris Evans, Jessica Alba, and who's the thing?
It's the guy from Gotham.
Yeah. No, he's not in Gotham, I don't think.
He's been in something. I know who it is.
It's on the tip of my tongue, but he was he's got a name that's like on the tip of my tongue. Please Google it or it's gonna
it's loading up. 2005 it was.
He was
a year off. It is Michael Chiklis.
Michael Chiklis.
No, he was in Gotham.
He was brilliant.
He absolutely was in Gotham.
Was he?
I swear.
Who did he play?
He was the police guy in season 2. He was like the head of the GCPD.
Oh shit! No, I do remember.
he takes over the woman. I'm pretty sure she dies or something. But he's in. I think he starts in the second season. I can't remember his name.
Oh, nice. Yeah, but no, I'm very excited for that. They start shooting on Tuesday. It's got that very 60s vibe, which of course is where the Fantastic Four belong, and yeah, and we also got a look at Galactus as well, which is really cool.
Yeah, I'm interested that he isn't massive planet-eating size. He is the size of a building by the looks, or slightly bigger than a building.
Yes, yeah. Apparently his presence, they said his presence is going to be very similar to like that of like Arishem in Eternals, which is kind of perfect. But apparently he won't be. I'm not entirely sure what dimension he's from, but like he's from like an old dead universe. Apparently he won't have the same origin as he does in the comics.
Could you imagine he starts off and he's Cloud Galactus, and he grows a body.
Don't stop. don't do that.
I came here on a cloud. Well, the Silver Surfer is also supposed to be in the film as well. Well, it's not the same Silver Surfer. They didn't mention any of this. But
it's Norrin Rad's wife, who is who's a Herald of Galactus in another universe, which obviously this is another universe from the main Sacred Timeline.
Yeah, I completely forgot about the Silver Surfer, to be honest. That had gone from my mind that they were in that film.
Yeah, me too. But it's very bold that they're moving straight in with Galactus, but I suppose it could give them a reason to perhaps jump universes or something. But yeah.
Well, that's
but speaking of... Oh, sorry, no.
Sorry, no, not yet. That's what I was confused about, is that if they want Galactus as a big threat, well, I guess if they're saying he's from an old universe, he can also, travel universes. So it might not be the end for him.
True.
But if they
maybe
go to
this
a different
universe dies and he moves over.
Yeah, that's what I'm assuming. That's how the Avengers are gonna end up meeting the Fantastic Four, because they are supposed to be in the films that we'll talk about in a minute. But the thing about Galactus is that they're leaving him if before I thought that he could also swap universes. I'm guessing he'll go at the same time, and he'll come back in a future film, big planet-eating size.
Yeah, it could be a sort of like a Mark Ruffalo, Thanos is coming sort of.
Galactus is coming.
Galactus is coming. But before the Avengers fight Galactus, speaking of bold moves, so Avengers 5 has been retitled from the Kang Dynasty to Avengers Doomsday. The Russo brothers are back to direct Avengers 5 and 6, Doomsday and Secret Wars, which will be coming out May 2026 and May 2027. And not only will they be returning, but so is Robert Downey Jr., but not as Iron Man. I'm sure if you listen to this podcast, you already know that he is back as Doctor Doom.
Yeah, he is. And I was also thinking that it feels not only... I'll talk about the casting in a minute, but it just feels rushed to get to Doom. Like, he hasn't had... You know when Thanos, he appeared at the first Avengers film, and then he was in Guardians, and then he was in the end of the second Avengers film. I can't remember it. Was he in anything else? He wasn't in the second Guardians. Because that was...
No, that was afterwards. No, it was before, but he wasn't in that.
He wasn't in it, no. But obviously, they built him up, and we knew the direction they were heading. But if you weren't as tapped in to the new stuff, and I'm sure most people probably aren't, but the people that just go and see the films and stuff, and they don't care about, like, what we're yapping about today, but there hasn't been any build-up. It feels very Hail Mary that they've just completely changed direction from all the Kang stuff. Now, that's understandable, and I don't think that was necessarily, like, the wrong idea. They could have just recast Kang. Like, it's the easiest character ever
easily
to recast.
Yeah.
But they shot themselves in the foot with him being the only person to play Kang in, like, that scene at the end of Ant-Man where there's, like, the whole crowd of them. But, like, surely it's easier just to recast than write a whole new script and spend a load of more money on that film.
Yeah. I mean, I think Loki Season 2, which I'm you haven't seen that, right?
Yeah.
Oh, you did see it?
Yeah, I did see it.
Oh, shit, fair play. But yeah, they wrapped that up quite nicely with the Kang thing. Like, it was like a very brief comment, like, oh yeah, we're dealing with the Kang, or whatever, we're dealing with that He Who Remains variant, or whatever, branches and stuff. So it kind of wrapped that up a little bit, but it feels, it's like such a 180, and it's really interesting to me to watch Marvel and DC almost swap roles by bringing back old directors that worked, and old casting that worked, making all these reactionary decisions when something goes wrong, and then DC sort of just slowly building up and just taking their time and doing their thing and whatever. For me, like both the casting of RDJ and the very concept of bringing Doom in this early just feels so lazy to me. It feels so rushed, and it feels like such a missed opportunity to really dive into and build up Marvel's greatest villain. Like, yeah, Thanos, he's a big bad or whatever. Magneto has got an incredible rich history. But I would still say Doom, for me, is the most interesting Marvel villain out there, because he's got such a rich backstory and history that I just don't think they'll give the time of day, because they'll be more focused on the story at hand and just throwing him in as the main villain of this movie. You know, doing Secret Wars, and it's like, oh, cool, whatever. And I feel like we're really being stripped of the opportunity to really get to see that character properly. And I guarantee you, after Secret Wars, we won't really see that character much again anyway, because we will have already done his big 2 movies, and then they'll be focusing more on, like, the Mutant Saga and whatever like that. So it just feels like we're being robbed of a proper Doctor Doom, which we've not had in any Fantastic Four film so far.
Yeah, well, dialing it back a minute, what was the Kang Dynasty? What was that film going to be? What would they have done with that? Like,
I don't know. I think maybe fighting the Council of Kangs. And trying to sort of, like, eradicate Kang from history, perhaps. I don't know. Because obviously he's very intertwined in human history, and there's, like, loads of versions of him throughout history. So I think they probably would have divvied up the Avengers into different teams and gone for different members of the council, I guess.
See, to me, though,
yeah, I don't know what they were going to do with it.
It feels like they haven't really, now just thinking about it, they probably haven't really diverted a whole lot. They've just pretty much swapped Kang for Doom. Because I think that they weren't going to have Doom in Secret Wars, like the comics. It was going to be Kang as, like, the guy that did all,
do you know.
Yeah. Or they were going to do some...
Or, like, have, like, Kang, like, as, like, a Beyonder variant or something like that. Beyonder as a Kang variant or something like that.
Yeah. I think that they, I don't think they've changed it a whole lot.
Yeah, it is interesting.
They've just sort of swapped out, like, oh, Doom is coming, guys. We gotta stop him. And then at the end, it's just gonna be like, Secret Wars, and then that film.
But like you had, like you were saying, you had Thanos for like 10 years of build up. You had Kang for like 3 years or whatever of build up. You're gonna do Doom with like a year build up? The fuck is wrong with you? Like, what? How do you do Doom with, like... And who knows if he's even going to be in the Fantastic Four movie? I assume he will be, or at least mentioned. Or he'll be, like... You'll get RDJ in, like, a post-credit scene.
Yeah, I feel like he'll be right at the end of it.
Because he's obviously going to be... Yeah, he's obviously going to be from that universe, I'd imagine. If you're going to get the Fantastic Four in an alternate universe and then jumping over... Plus, he's RDJ, so he can't look like RDJ in the 616, because he was already Iron Man. Yeah, it feels weird to me that you're going to get one movie with him as like a cameo before it's like, surprise, I'm the big villain of the next 2 films. Avengers.
Yeah.
What?
I'm sure there are people will say stuff like, "Oh, you don't need to build everyone up." Blah 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 blah. We know how bad Doom is, but yeah, but they do need to build him up because it increases the stakes a lot. A lot. They keep
it increases the stakes, and it also makes us like Doom is an incredibly empathetic villain. Like that, you need to feel that, and you need time for people to feel that.
So you're not a fan of the casting then? I haven't asked you about the casting yet, or you haven't told me what you thought about the casting yet.
No, I was saving it. This. Yeah, it feels lazy to me. It like I understand why people think it's genius because like Twitter or like socials are very. It's like Marmite at the minute. Like some people love it and some people hate it.
Yeah.
I understand why people think it's genius. Like I've seen people use that word. Like, but it's the same reason why I think it's lazy.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my god, they got Marvel's biggest hero, its biggest villain. You know, both characters, they're very similar sense, like on a very basic standpoint of like they're both smart men with a metal suit and a mechanical army, and they're both, most importantly, they're both pro change, right? Like RDJ said on stage, new mask, same task, is to like protect the world. Like but Doom obviously goes about it in a very different way, in the same way that Thanos did, and like all of these big villains do, with like this radicalized take on it that perhaps obviously the heroes like Iron Man didn't. So I get why people saying it's genius, but it's also the reason I think it's lazy. Like it's not clever; it's just a lazy casting.
Yeah, it's definitely trying to like draw the fans back in. You know, they're just putting out this big face 100%. So everyone knows. Oh, come on, guys! Look, he's back. He's not who you think he is, but he's back. And like,
I can already see in my head, like they beat him up. The mask comes off. Tony, who the hell is Tony?
Yeah,
like I can already see it, you know, and them going like, I can see them like them going, giving them the whole spiel of like, okay, you may be Victor Von Doom, but on our Earth, you know, your face was the greatest hero in the whatever. Like, okay, whatever. I know what you're doing already. It doesn't excite me.
I've no doubt he's gonna do a good job. You know, he's a phenomenal actor. Yeah, I mean, everyone knows that.
He was almost cast as Doom in the original Fantastic.
Man,
he's clearly got something doomy about him. Like I'm sure, like you said, I'm sure he'll do a great job.
Yeah.
But
Superior Iron Man was literally right there. Right there.
Yeah.
They could have done that. I think more people would be happy to see him back as Iron Man at this point than Doom. Like, he doesn't need to play a new character for him to come back. I don't think... Well, no. Either way, I think there'd be backlash about it, so...
I think so. I mean, I understand in the past, like, very connected. Like, there was I don't think it was canon to the 616, but there was, like, an Elseworld type of comic. It might have been in the Ultimate Universe. Where... Oh, no, I don't think it was, actually. But, like, where Doom and Tony were, like, college roommates, and, like, they swapped... Like, Doom did an experiment where he swapped his brain into Tony's brain, and he lived his life, and, like, you know, they fought as, like, Iron Man and Doom, but obviously opposites. And then also in the 616, after Civil War II, when Iron Man died, Doom, this is, like, post-Secret Wars, like, not too far removed from Secret Wars, Doom then took up the mantle of Iron Man in Iron Man run, I believe it was. But, like, yeah, I don't know. I feel cheated out of a proper Doom and, like, a proper build-up to him.
Yeah, it's very desperate. Very, rent is due.
100%. 100%.
And the thing is, like, again, you mentioned it a minute ago about his mask. What is the point in casting him? Because the character barely ever takes off his mask, right?
Yeah.
So, either he's gonna not wear the mask for a lot of the film, or it's, like, why are you casting him? The most important, like, thing is seeing his face. Is if they're doing that whole thing that he looks like Tony Stark, and I guess they'll play it up for the reveal, like you said as well. Like, oh, it's Tony under the mask, guys. I didn't see that one coming. But like the emotional connection isn't really there for the whole film. With that casting, it wouldn't make any difference if it's just Doctor Doom and it's any other actor. It only matters when he takes the mask off that like the casting will have any sort of impact on the character. And the character barely takes the mask off, so what's the point?
Yeah, he's horrifically scarred, so he wears the mask. In a lot of, I think in some interpretations, or maybe even in 616,
he like fused to his face, right?
He's fused, yeah, like he literally like welds it to his fucking face. Like it's attached to his skin, so I don't know. I can see them doing this. I think I can see them having Doom, because it's purely because it's RDJ, I can see them doing this. I can see them having Doom as the main villain of Doomsday, obviously, and then changing Secret Wars from the comics, because in the comics, the Beyonder is like the big bad, and then Doom kills him and takes his power, and then becomes God Doom and rules Battleworld and all that sort of stuff. I can see them changing Secret Wars to have the Beyonder as the main villain, and then not doing the whole God Doom thing. So by the end of Secret Wars, he sort of dons the, like, after people telling him, like, and trying to convince, you know, to be a good guy, and that the face he has is like the face of the greatest hero and whatever. I can see him donning the infamous Iron Man suit, and then fighting alongside the heroes against the Beyonder by like the third act of Secret Wars.
You know what that feels like?
What does that feel like?
It feels like, what if what if Peacemaker wore Rick Flag's shirt and said, "Peacemaker, what a joke"?
Yes, that's exactly what it feels like, yeah.
What if Doom said, "I hate you 3000" and wore Iron Man's armor?
Well, this is the thing, it does feel like a What If episode. Like, it feels like the arc of, like, What If Season 3 or something. And, like, you build him up, and then by the final episode, the Avengers are fighting Doom or something. Like, it feels like that.
Mm.
Like,
what if Doom was Iron Man?
Yeah, like, it really does feel like that. I'm not going to lie. It's, look, like you said, RDJ's an incredible actor, and he was almost cast as Doom anyway, so I can see him doing a great job. But it just feels like a very generic, safe, yet at the same time very bold choice for them to make.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not 100% sold on it. But I will, like with anything, I will withhold my judgment until I have actually seen the execution myself.
As well, it's another time where they have not got the character or the acting, or not the acting, the actor from the actual character's like background, you know? Like Doom has a very like entwined story with his heritage, and they are now just turning him into Tony Stark Jr. Tony
just
Stark
another
2.
white guy.
Yeah, they've done it again.
They've done it again. Yeah, absolutely. Which I think when it came to fan casting Doom, people were very like I've seen everyone on the internet be very conscious of that casting. There's only select sort of few people on like Twitter who are like, I don't know, get like Timothée Chalamet or something. But yeah, like people are very conscious. I think it's very interesting that they're not honouring that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what they're cooking. Well, actually, the problem is I know exactly what I think I know. So, yeah.
They're cooking something very desperate.
It feels very desperate with the return of RDJ and the Russos as well. Like, don't get me wrong, the Russos would be a great pick. They know how to handle the massive ensemble. They know how to handle Avengers and Marvel characters, and they clearly have a great love and passion for it. But yeah, it does feel very safe. Now, in terms of shooting schedule, I happen to know that Joe Russo is going to be in the UK for a while because he was location scouting for a new film that he's shooting fairly soon. So I don't think they're going to be getting started on this film for a little bit yet. It's not because it's not released until May 2026 anyway. So we'll probably have to wait quite some time for any more updates on it. But yeah, I don't know. I'm let's call me cautiously optimistic at this point, but my expectations are very low.
Yeah, like, I don't know. It feels like the comics, where they'll throw an absolute Hail Mary and do some absolute batshit crazy stuff to try and get people to read them again. They're entering that sort of phase of the films. It's getting into the point of where the comics are doing. They're in the same part of their lifespan where they need to get people back on board in for all of their films. So they're just saying, "Fuck it, let's do some crazy shit."
100%. And I think the easiest way to do that is decrease output slightly, because it's just natural that the more products you put out, the more chance that some of them aren't going to hit.
Mm-hmm.
So, which is why I think people have been turning on Marvel lately, is because there is so many projects out there that the chances are some of them don't hit, and some of them definitely haven't been over the past few years. So, yeah, we're in an interesting spot with Marvel right now where, yeah, I think if these next 2 Avengers movies don't hit, then I think people will clock out for good.
Yeah, it's interesting that DC and Marvel, at least in my eyes, I still think that I still think the majority of people that have read the news about Doctor Doom casting are ecstatic about it. But we're nerds, so it doesn't count. We have very different opinions of them.
Very true.
I'm sure there's a lot of people that are very excited about it. And I understand it, because it is Robert Downey Jr. back in the MCU. And it's different from Iron Man, but...
Oh yeah, it'd be awesome to have him back. I'm very excited to have him back, but I just didn't think this would be... In a Secret Wars movie, where you have, alternate universes colliding, and you could have brought back him as Iron Man, even as Superior Iron Man or something like that, a dickish version.
Yeah.
This isn't the way I thought they were going to bring him back.
No, it's very... It's very random.
Yes, yeah. But yeah, I think that's about all I have to say on the matter.
Yeah, I've got my words in. I don't like it so much. I think it's pretty desperate.
I think it's desperate. I think it's lazy. I think we're. I mean, obviously, depending on the execution, I think we're slightly being robbed of a proper Doom.
Yeah.
Because I can't really see him having much presence beyond Secret Wars in the MCU.
Yeah, I was thinking that maybe they'd they'll bring in the real Doctor Doom after that, but there's no point, because they've already shown him off, and they've already done their big casting. Whatever casting follows him will not be as big of an actor, I don't think, or as big of a headline as Robert Downey Jr. is back at Marvel.
Yeah.
They've missed their chance now for their Doctor Doom to. I don't know about making a new star sort of thing, but making the
character.
Yeah, making a statement with it,
Yeah.
Instead, they've gone the lazy route.
It's really interesting to me that Marvel, with especially their approach to castings and cameos and big sort of old cast members and stuff like that, appearing in for example Deadpool and Wolverine. No spoilers. They're in this. It feels like they're in a legacy era, which is wild to me, because they haven't taken a 20-30 year break where it's oh, you remember this guy?
Yeah,
he's back.
It's been 5 years.
It's been 5 years.
They're nostalgia baiting for 5 years ago. How the mighty have fallen. We're doing nostalgia bait for not even a decade.
Yeah. But oh well. I'm looking forward to it. Again, similar to Brave New World. I'm looking forward to it, but I'm not as excited as I should be.
Yeah, that feels very...
I'm looking forward to it purely because I'm a Marvel fan and I'm a geek, and I will watch and love everything they do regardless.
Yeah, it does have a a general feel for the MCU, even though their film that just came out is making a lot of money and everyone seems to be liking it, or most people seem to be liking it.
Yeah, I liked it. It was a good film, but
even though it hasn't really.
I think perhaps the money it's making though is reliant on that nostalgia bait though.
Mm-hmm.
Like it feels like a No Way Home or
it does.
an Endgame.
And I never knew.
Feels like that.
I never knew the Fox movies had such a big fan base. I thought it was just me.
It is. You have seen Deadpool 3 like
500 million
times.
Yeah. 400,000 times. Yeah, that was me.
Yeah. But yeah, no, that feels like a pretty solid return to podcast. It feels like a pretty decent wrap up of Comic-Con. Obviously, it's still going on, but I don't know. I think Sunday's usually pretty quiet.
Yeah,
if there's any other big stuff, then I guess we'll cover it in a separate video. But
yeah, I haven't seen any Star Wars or anything. I'm guessing they'll be there. I haven't seen any of that.
Star Wars usually leave their stuff for Star Wars Celebration, though, don't they?
That's true.
These days, at least.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you made it to the end. I probably should have, but there will be timestamps below.
Yeah, I'll work it out.
Skip ahead, but if you've made it to the end, then you've already seen everything anyway. But yeah, thank you very much for sticking with us. I think we're probably around the hour mark now. Wrap things.
Yeah.
Hopefully more videos soon. It's kind of nice to be back doing some stuff, especially over summer while I'm back home. It's nice to get going with it. But yeah, thank you very much. I've been Brandon.
I've been Will.
And we'll catch you in the next video.
Bye-bye.